Hey YouTube, I am walking around in Woodlands Cemetery in West Philly, and I'm not sure I'm going to use any of this footage because this is just a scouting mission. So worst case scenario, I'll put this up, but you know, we'll see if I find out what I'm looking for. That's where I'm going. Look at 43rd Street in West Philadelphia. It's very curvy, right? You know, if you follow 43rd Street from Clark Park in West Philly has a big bowl, a big depression in it. People call it the Dog Bowl in West Philly. And that depression has been there for a long time. It turns out it's been there for many hundreds, if not thousands of years, and it is what remains of an ancient creek. But look how beautiful it is. This meadow behind there. So, you know, this creek that came, it originated somewhere in West Philly. There were many branches. They kind of coalesced around Baltimore Avenue and 43rd Street, basically right where the sinkhole was. If you're an old West Philly person, if you've been around West Philly for more than 5 years, you know, you remember that in, I want to say it was what, 2019, 2018? Maybe 2017, 2018. Sometime in that time period, there was a sinkhole that opened up on the corner of 43rd. I want to say 43rd and it was either 43rd or 42nd and Baltimore Avenue, wherever Clarkville Pizza Place was, and the old, you know, the original Green Street Cafe, wherever those places are. That corner of Clark Park there was a big sinkhole that opened up, and the reason there was a sinkhole is that there's actually an ancient creek that runs under the street, under 43rd Street. And if you follow 43rd Street down to the tip of Clark Park and then into the University of Sciences, the University of the Sciences area, you start to notice 43rd Street gets very windy and twisty, windy and wavy when it goes through the university. Why is that? Well, obviously the reason is that it used to be an ancient creek. Now, this is a perfect map. You can actually see, this is 42nd Street, right? So it's very straight, you can see, very straight. But the creek was 43rd. Or I don't know if it was 42nd that came down, but just look at the way 43rd, this is Clark Park, 43rd, and there's the corner where the sinkhole was. And it comes, no, the sinkhole was up one more corner, up here. And then 43rd comes here. Here's the depression in Clark Park where it used to be a lake or a pond of some sort, or at least the banks of a creek, and then it came down here, and then look how wavy this is. They call it Loop Road, but look, it's like bloop, 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 bloop. You know, it's super wavy because this used to be a creek, and then it empties into the Schuylkill. The Schuylkill River is like right here. Okay, there's Clark Park, and look, this is 45th. It meets 40. It turns into 43rd, and they call it Loop Road. But you can see how it bends. I mean, look how dramatically the road bends this way and then it bends that way. It's a perfect S, just a complete S curve, because it follows an ancient creek. Now, what do I always say about where an ancient creek meets a river, right? You know, this creek in colonial times was called Mill Creek because there were lots of mills built along what is now 42nd Street or 43rd Street. 43rd Street, that's the one, I'm pretty sure, was an ancient creek. And It was called Mill Creek before it became 43rd. And before it was called Mill Creek, it had a Lenape name, an ancient Native American name that I don't know. And maybe it's been lost, maybe not. I'm not sure what the Lenape name would have been. But it used to be an ancient creek. And what do I always say? Where an ancient creek meets a larger river, like the Schuylkill, that's where a Native American village would have been built. There are the train tracks. And let's see what we find back in the woods here. There's clearly a trail. You can just see the trail. So, I'm not... Okay, there's thankfully no one back here. I mean, if I was a homeless person, this is the perfect place to camp. So I checked the area a little bit, and I'm pretty sure there's no one with me here in the woods. Now I'm losing light very quickly because it's sunset, but I wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, look at this seed pod. The seed pod. This is a pod from a tree that's native to Pennsylvania. The name is escaping me. Is this a basswood? No, I don't know. In the comments, let me know what kind of seed pod this is. They're everywhere, and I'm pretty sure they're native to Pennsylvania. The other thing I wanted to show you is, hey, look at this. It's a walnut, a black walnut. And what's the tradition with black walnuts? Well, whenever you find a black walnut, you have to pick a target and chuck it. A train is going by right there, if you can tell, on the train tracks. Let's choose that tree, and I'm gonna throw it and see if I can hit it. I always throw wide left. I think that's because my throws come across my body in a weird way. So the other thing I wanted to show you is some of these cans back here are super old. Like, look at this pull tab can. Pretty sure that's very old. And there are very old bottles scattered everywhere along here, including more modern ones. I mean, look at this bottle. But let's go this way. There are tons of bottles everywhere from different eras. Like, there's another pull tab can. So there's all sorts of interesting stuff back here in the woods. Clearly, oh, look at this. What is this? A measuring tape? Some worker lost their measuring tape, I guess. Maybe it's broken. I don't know. There's all sorts of interesting trash back here, but that's not why we're here, is it? The reason we're exploring this area is because I am pretty sure, because of the way whenever a creek meets a river, and the Schuylkill River is that way across the train tracks, and Mill Creek was here running parallel and emptying into the Schuylkill River, I'm pretty sure there would have been a village right where I'm walking right now. And I'm not aware of any archaeological digs that have been done in this area, but it is quite possible that there have been some studies done, especially because there is a university that is literally right that way. So let's crawl through the woods a little bit longer here and see what we find. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know if you can see this on the ground. There's a whole pile of trash. I'm losing daylight very quickly, but clearly people have lived here for a while. And the woods just continue that way. So, yeah, just all sorts of trash. There's someone's purse on the ground here, and tons of bottles and clothes. We'll keep moving. Anything this way? Okay, here's what we can see. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but the hill starts to curve down that way. Okay, so this is the edge of the hill and it goes down. And down there is 42nd Street, and that's where Mill Creek was. So that means that this whole area that I'm standing in, this area was the high ground above a creek that emptied into the Delaware, the Schuylkill River right over there. So you got the Schuylkill River, you have a creek coming this way, and now I'm standing on the high ground. And this is probably where a Native American village would have been. And I just wonder, you know, if there were an archaeological survey done of this area, what they would find. I bet they would find some very interesting things, much more interesting than the trash on the ground. Just very ancient stone tools, remnants of any ancient structures. I'm not sure, but this is one of the only undeveloped areas in West Philly, and it makes me wonder if this patch of woods would have had some preserved original landscape that archaeologists could explore. So I'm gonna hop this log and I'll get back to you in a second. All right, we're really losing daylight now. It's almost, the sun is setting, and yeah, look at all the trash. There have clearly been people camping here. People have hung out here, definitely. Look at these huge trees. Oh, and is this a barrel for, I think this is a barrel for fires. Yeah, fire barrel. I don't know if you can see any of that. Probably not. Probably not. Let's turn. There you go. There's the fire barrel. Okay, look at this old tree. Oh my gosh, it's huge. Now I'm coming to the other side of this forested area. You can see where it drops off, right? This is a massive embankment, and this is 42nd Street. And look how 42nd Street curves. You know, it's very windy, it's very twisty, but it's straight here just because it follows this embankment. And this ancient embankment was where the old creek that the colonists called Mill Creek carved, you know, it carved its way through as it went to the Schuylkill, just a couple hundred yards that way. And we don't know what this creek would have been called by the Lenape. At least I don't know. Maybe it's in some source, some historical source somewhere, but I don't know. All we know is that this used to be a creek. Here was an embankment, and up on this ridge, the high ground above a creek where the creek meets the river, this is where I guess there would have been a Lenape village for thousands of years, probably. So here's where I think there would have been an ancient Lenape village in West Philly. And I wonder if anyone else has any sources to corroborate my theory. If anyone knows of any archaeological digs that have been done here, please let me know. And I don't know anything else. I've shared everything I know with you. And looking at the ground, I'm not sure I see any of the ancient surface left. I can't tell. I don't see any indication of an ancient ground surface. I wouldn't expect to find any. I bet you'd have to dig down quite a ways to find any ancient ground surface here. But you know, the placement of this area on the landscape just leads me to believe that it would have been an ancient place. So, yeah, all right, I'm gonna get out of here now. I wonder if there's a way out over this way. There's another gate. There's another gate there. You can hear the crickets coming out. And I see a couple fireflies. I don't know if the camera is going to pick them up, but yeah. This grass is very tall and wild. I wonder what this area is used for. It's clearly not maintained super well. But there is a baseball field back here, so let's go look for a way out through the baseball field. I don't know. I don't think this baseball field is very old. Doesn't look like it's in use anymore. And I don't see an obvious way around this fence, so I may have to backtrack entirely. But let's see what's over here before I do that. Oh, okay. The fence just ends. Alright, but still, I mean, this place looks very abandoned. Looks very abandoned. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's an old baseball field, some greenhouses. There's the batting cage, or, you know, the backstop where home base used to be. Interesting. Wow, look at this. Look at this. I could really have a nice picnic back here, you know. This is such a beautiful place. I'm so lucky to have this place to myself right now. Yeah. Look at this field. Okay, we do have to get out of here though, so let's see. There's the fence. Let's see what's on this side over here. And if I can get out over here, I will. And let's hope I don't get in trouble. I think I see a gap right there. Oh boy, okay. I think maybe this is my best way out. And I do hear sirens. Hopefully those aren't for me. Well, let's see. Let's just see where this leads. Oh, is there a staircase? So, you know, the ancient creek may be here, but clearly I think it stands to reason that over time the creek would have shifted, and the embankment I showed you that I was up on top of, that probably was an ancient course of this old creek. And you can see walking back, the creek kept going up that way. There's Clark Park, and 43rd is there. And it just went up into West Philly that way. Mill Creek. And about 2 blocks up there is where the sinkhole was. Okay, there you go. There's a little bit of the ancient landscape of West Philly for you. Okay, I hope I explained that well. And you know, it's just a theory. I don't have really any evidence. I don't know of any archaeology that's been done back up in that area where I was, next to the cemetery. And I have no idea if anyone else agrees with me or thinks I'm, you know, way off base here. In the comments, please let me know. If you guys can find anything about that spot on the map, I'd be very curious to know. And if you're a West Philly person and you know anything about the Lenape in West Philly, please drop a comment, leave whatever your knowledge leave whatever knowledge you have, and we can all benefit from it together. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna end this video here. My name is Sean. This is my channel, Saul Good. If you like what I'm doing, please leave a like, give me a subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.